Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to episode number 7 of the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast, where I get to sit down with Duncan from Planet DOUGHNUTS, which is really cool because I've been dying to speak to him for ages. He's got one of the most well-known brands in the town, and I wanted to find out where it all came from. So I think you guys will enjoy that. Also, they've just opened up a new stand in the Darwin Centre mall as well, which I spoke to Duncan about in the week, and he said it's gone really, really well. So congratulations on that one. I will be visiting it very soon when I come to rush around and do my last minute Christmas shopping. So well done, Duncan, and thank you again for doing this episode with me. I think it's quite cool. It's quite a short interview, but I quite like that sometimes. Sometimes it's great to do like a tiny little episode where people can just enjoy. It's like they say, it's quality over quantity, and I really like this episode. And yeah, it sounds a bit weird, this episode. I never want to be negative. I consider myself as an editing wizard, and it took quite a lot of work to get this episode. For some reason or another, it took me a while to get this episode sounding the way it does. But you know, you can still hear it, and it sounds really good. I'd love to hear your feedback on it. So I heard this great little story this week. I was at the prison. I'm rehearsing for something at the prison that's going on at Christmas, 21st and 22nd. Make sure you check that out. But I was there, and I was speaking to Lauren, who's the site manager there, and she told me that, remember the Christmas fair I told you about last weekend? Well, there was somebody that turned up at the Christmas fair at the Dana, and went up to Lauren and was like, "Oh, I didn't know there was a Christmas fair going on today. It's only when I heard it on the Shrewsbury Biscuit, Alex told me about it, and Lauren told me about this, and inside I was kind of like, yes, it's working, yes." So yes, thank you to thank you to whoever that lady was that reminded Lauren of the power of the biscuit, and I'm really happy. Thank you to anybody that's kind of reacting positively with this show. I really do appreciate every single one of you, and I hope you enjoy this episode too, because sometimes I do set myself up a bit of a challenge. I will give myself a really tight deadline, like I did this week with the Shrewsbury Arc, who you will be listening to next week. With the Planet Doughnut, I'd finished a night shift, as always, unless I didn't realise how late it was, so I had to grab all my stuff, which is really heavy, by the way, and run up the cop. And by the time we got to Planet Doughnut, I kind of burst through the doors because I was running a bit late, and the girls looked at me all startled, and I was kind of like, podcast, and they just kind of looked at me like, yeah, okay, and so yeah, it was a bit odd. When you do get to an interview and you're in that kind of state, it takes you a while to kind of center yourself and get yourself into where you want to be, into the right state of mind to be able to sit and talk to a stranger about their universe, But I always seem to do it okay, and Duncan was really cool. He's got a great story, and I think you'll enjoy it. But I'm sure you'll all agree it's quite a handy little episode. So anyway, let's go. Welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit. Again, Al here in your ears, and with me is Duncan from Planet DOUGHNUT. I've been dying to get here and talk to you about this place because everybody loves Planet DOUGHNUT, right?
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
So, just to tell people a bit about yourself. Who are you? And
I'm Duncan McGregor. I'm not going to say my age. I found out you can actually change your age by deed poll anyway, so I'm looking into that.
I did hear about that. That was a very odd thing to see in the news.
Quite fancy doing that.
It's 2018, right?
Yeah. I moved to Shrewsbury about 13, 14 years ago.
All right, okay.
Never moved since. And I started Planet Doughnut roughly about this time last year.
Okay, so where are you from originally? Where'd you hail from?
Technically nowhere. Forces child, so my dad was in the RAF. So
oh, okay.
we've moved literally everywhere, not all over the world, meant to Cyprus, which is, when you're a kid, is all over the world. Cyprus and then pretty much all over England, Scotland, Wales.
Okay, so from base to base.
Ended up in a little fishing village called Anstruther, which is in Fife, near St Andrews, where the princes got their education.
Cool.
So we were there. And then I moved to Dundee when I was 16, and then somehow ended up here.
Yeah, wow. So what's it like kind of growing up, moving here, there and everywhere to finally kind of finding somewhere to settle, and like Shrewsbury, like what's that like? Is it good for you? Do you prefer it now? Do you prefer moving around?
No, I much prefer being settled. Moving around as a kid, I mean, back in the day there was no email, so no internet.
Yeah.
So, the only way you could keep in contact with people was pen pals.
Yeah.
And I don't keep in contact very well, so you lose a lot of friends.
I struggle texting my friends. Like, that's how bad it is.
Yeah, so it's not. It wasn't really for me. It's nice, when you're growing up as a teenager in places like Cyprus. Love it. Down the beach every day after when you finish school. You finished school at 1:00 because it was too hot. So that was nice. But the rest of it, could have done without it.
Yeah. So what was where were you in life when you moved up to Shrewsbury? Then were you young or?
So I met. So I was working abroad at the time.
Yeah.
Working in Malia in Crete, and I met my to-be wife there when I was working abroad. She was from Shrewsbury, and then that must have been about 2006, I would say.
Okay.
That we met. We did a couple of years there, and then we moved back to Shrewsbury and been here ever since. That's
really, really cool. So, Planet Doughnut. Okay, everybody talks to me about Planet Doughnut. Okay, this is what you've got now, and this is it hard? Is this hard, or is it?
It's hard. Yeah. I've never been in this deep before, if you see what I mean. So I've always dabbled in bits and bobs. From an early age, I was selling golf balls at the age of 7 or 8.
So you've always had it in your mind to kind of want to sell and make.
Yeah, I think I'm an all right salesman. I'm an all right entrepreneur. I like doing things for myself.
Yeah.
So I've always had little bits on where I've worked sort of from home while I've had my full-time job and done things like that. But this is the first time I've ever went, no, I'm quitting my job. I'm giving it a go. All in, all or nothing, basically. So yeah, it's hard work.
That must be really hard. Really like difficult to take that plunge. Just kind of like, this is our life now.
Yeah. I mean, it was. I ummed and ahed it for a while. It was literally to the point where we can continue doing it as a sideline. Again, and work your full-time job, and then you just work yourself into the ground. And we did it before, we worked ourselves into the ground. We'd work full-time, come home and we're making stuff, and then we're going out to little farmers markets and trying to sell it, and coming home with, at the end of the day, maybe 20 or 30 pounds profit after, another 12 hours working into the night. Thinking it's not worth it. So yeah, it was a very difficult decision. We'd literally moved house. We'd just about to have a baby at that time when we did it.
Oh God!
In fact, we had little Kai, also affectionately known as the boss. So we had him, and it was like, Sam was on maternity, I was on paternity. It just seemed it was a now or never, really.
That's great. I mean, all the hours that you put into this place, and you're saying at the beginning you we're making a lot off, from the beginning. Like, but is it nice seeing like your logo in places? Like, people did you hear people talking about the place? That kind of feedback. Does it make it worth it in the end?
Oh yeah, definitely. So it's definitely been a struggle, but you're starting to hear things. It's nice that people do talk about us now. I'm really, really chuffed. I saw a friend of mine the other day as I was walking up the street. And their daughter literally said, my favourite Planet donut is the Oreo one. I was like, this is a thing now. People are saying this is my favourite Planet donut. They're not saying my favourite Krispy Kreme is this. It's Planet donut.
And that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool because you created your own brand. And I've had your donuts before. We made a thing actually in the summer of coming here. Getting one of the 3 boxes, and my little boy would have whatever he would have of one. because he could never quite finish one. Me and my wife would have one. We sit underneath a tree in the park while he ran around. It was quite a nice thing to do. So, but we chose to come here because of all the good feedback we'd heard.
Yeah, I love that. To be fair,
yeah.
I'm constantly. I mean, I must spend too much time. I'm very self-critical of everything I do, and constantly looking on reviews or just listening to word of mouth. If a coffee's been left on the table, I'm like, what was wrong with the coffee? I'll get a store and I'll taste it just to make sure everything's okay. Because I love hearing good things about it, and I want that to continue, really.
And that speaks volumes in kind of the kind of person you are in creating a business. Some people will create a business and be like, it'll just run as it runs, but you strive for that kind of perfection almost,
Yeah.
And your product looks amazing as well as it tastes. I mean, whose idea was it to take a ring donut and just fill that hole in the middle of all that? I mean, you got how many flavors now? Off the top of your head,
probably over 50 flavors now. We've done special ones for Halloween. We've got new ones coming up for Christmas. So there's so many flavors.
You got dog donuts, right? I've heard this, right?
Yeah, we don't make them. It's a company called Life of Riley. But they make them for us, and they're probably more popular than our donuts at times.
I can imagine
people spend more on their dogs or pets than they do themselves. So.
It makes a good Instagram photo, doesn't it? I suppose.
Yeah. You got your dog eating a donut and you eating a donut. But yeah, even just the inspiration for our donuts. It just comes from all over. Some of it's just we brainstorm ideas on a Monday morning when it's quiet. So then we look on Instagram, Pinterest, and you just adapt it to what you think would work for us. We try to be a little bit wackier. Some of them are a bit plainer because people sometimes just want plain donuts. But we're trying to be a bit more out there and a bit more creative.
So how did this happen from the beginning? So you're saying you and your wife, just as she's about to have a baby, you decided to launch it and to do this.
Slightly after, yeah. Sorry, I got my timeline mixed up. But we'd had Kai at the time. He must have only been a couple of months old because he was born in June. We started this in November, but the idea was really from the Bake Off. Would you believe? And obviously they just had a donut week on Bake Off. Well, about a couple of weeks ago, and I think at the time we must have just been watching a rerun of the Bake Off where they made donuts. That idea just got stuck in her head. She loves baking anyway. Her mum's a baker. She makes she's a cake maker, so she makes cupcakes and cakes. And then she's I'll try my hand at donuts. And basically it just sort of stemmed from there, really. Donuts, although they seem easy to make, are an absolute nightmare to make.
Really?
If you don't know what you're doing. So they make it look easy on the Bake Off. I'm pretty sure Paul Hollywood has given them the recipe and given them a lot of training to make them in an hour or two. It must have took us at least 2 months to be able to make an edible donut.
Oh my God! I mean, I'm a bad. It's crazy because my dad's a baker. He's baked most of his life. So I struggle baking bread, making cakes, things like that. I'm really bad. So to make something like a donut, which is one of the nicest things in the whole world, I can imagine it taking quite a while. And like with this, like with Krispy Kreme coming to the UK, I was struggling to say creme cream. And I remember going to the shop and looking at it, thinking, "You're charging how much for a donut? How what?" You walk in, but it's almost worth it because it's a novelty item, and I think that's changed people's views on things. And it's great to just put frosting on a ring donut and put sprinkles on it like Homer Simpson's donuts, But to create a product like you've got, it falls in line with what's going on at the moment with the world of donuts. Because
yeah, definitely. I mean, it stems from America. America's been well ahead of us. In donut terms for years and years. Like you've got the famous...
It's almost cliche, right?
Yeah, your Voodoo Donut who do voodoo doll donuts filled with jam as blood and things like that.
That's cool.
They've been doing this for at least 10, 15 years plus. You've Krispy Kreme. Again, you've got them. And I think when I first found out about Krispy Kreme, I'd never heard of them in my life. Sat in a friend's car, he goes, "You've got to try this. You've got to try this donut." I was like, "It's just a donut."
Yeah, that's what
it's just a donut. I didn't ask the price. It's like, just a donut. Ate it. I was like, this is literally life-changing. This is a life-changing moment. Every weekend after that, when I was free, on the train to Birmingham, getting a box of 12, demolishing them literally before I'd even got the train back home, feeling sick and going, that was a good day.
That's so relatable because my brother, well, most of my family live in Ireland, and my brother comes over. They don't have it where he is in Ireland, Krispy Kreme. So he's always like, let's go to Tesco and get some Krispy Kreme. Like, so he'd go to Tesco and buy a box 12, come back. And he'd spend a ruck on all these donuts, but he'd be so happy, bless him. So is this something you want? I know you're saying like when you were younger, you had those kind of entrepreneurial ideas and things like that, but this is selling donuts. Is this something that you thought you'd be doing when you were younger? What did you want to do, you know?
I think pretty much, I mean, I'm not an artist because I'm not that good. I like to think of myself as an artist. I'm very good at copying for art. I can recreate anything in a painting or an artwork. And I've got quite a creative streak and an entrepreneurial streak. And at some point, I think they've just mixed together. I never ever thought I'd be making donuts for a living.
No,
never in a month for Sundays. And it's probably one of the most stressful but enjoyable jobs I've ever had in my life.
Yeah. But like I said about you, what you're doing is speaking volumes. Is Shrewsbury's great in the fact that it's got a great cafe culture. There's so many cafes and so many like places that will sell you treats or sell you this food places. And you guys seem to be doing well. I mean, from what I hear, like I hear Planet Donut talked about all the time. So you're doing something right. You're selling a product that people want.
Yeah, I'm really glad because honestly, even up until the day we launched, I was just like, I hope people are going to come in. I hope they're going to buy a donut. I just was so unsure.
What was it like on launch? Was it busy from the get go?
Yeah, the launch day we had queues out the door. It was amazing. So busy on both of them days, and we have our quiet spells and we have our busy Saturdays, and it's great. And yeah, I really don't know what we're doing. We're obviously doing it right. People love a treat, I think, and we're doing something different from everybody else.
It's where you are as well, I guess, because like people walking towards the park and be like, oh, there's a planet down there,
Yeah. I think I picked a good summer spot. It's certainly showing now people aren't going to the quarry as much, that it's not such a good winter spot. But
yeah, I'm guilty of that myself. I mean, I live in Bellevue. I could easily walk to the quarry as much as I like, but the weather kind of just I'll go to a play bar instead. Take my little boy there instead of go walking through the park. And so do you think it would benefit maybe having something in the centre of the town as well, maybe?
Yeah, we're currently in what do you call it, in progress. We're about to open a second site in Shrewsbury. So it's not going to be a shop. It's literally going to be a kiosk sort of arrangement.
I saw something I was walking around Oswald Street and I did see a Planet Donut thing in Oswald Street. That's right, isn't it?
It's not. We've done a few events in Oswald Street.
Oh, is that what it was? It's outside the market, so maybe it was like a market stall type jobby. Because I remember buying one, and I was like, "Why are you in Oswald Street?" And he was just like, "Oh, well,
Yeah, we've done a few artisan farmers markets there, but the actual second site's going to be in the centre, in the Darwin Centre.
Oh, wow.
So we're opening one there. So sort of literally like it's going to be a square kiosk or a massive just a small counter and just a massive cabinet of donuts.
Like Millie's cookies from back in the day.
Yeah.
Where you go up and just grab a cookie on your way through the mall. That's a great idea. I think that'll do really well, actually.
So, because as you say, Shrewsbury's such a big place, but also people, if you don't come down the west end of town, you'll never know we exist unless someone's talking about us.
Yeah.
So I think if we're in the Darwin Centre, it's perfect. We'll be found literally by most of Shrewsbury that go in that area.
Yeah, it's definitely from the good feedback, say, on social media and things like that. People have definitely taken to come in here, and you've got a great brand as well. I love your packaging with the little doodles all over the packaging. That's really good stuff. I think you've done really well there. So, what was it like for you? I mean, I know we brushed on it at the beginning. Like, you say you were RAF. Yes. So, what were you like as a lad? Were you have your head switched on? Were you a tearaway? What were you like as a youngster?
I was pretty switched on. pretty good, to be fair. You know, it didn't really cause that much trouble. You know, sort of typical lad of probably the 90s when I was about 10 or between 10 and the 90s. So yeah, played football, climbed trees. You know, anything you did pre-internet. You know, you'd be building tree houses and obviously in Cyprus a bit different. We'd block up storm drains and make dams and you know just random stuff like that. Go fishing. Yeah, that's the sort of stuff I used to do as a kid, really.
Yeah. So I was going to say, how are things going now though? Because there seems to be you're doing all right. Like you're doing okay. There's a lot of buzz about it.
I think we're definitely doing all right. I'm a little bit anxious of winter. I'm hoping we can just get to Christmas and everyone want to buy donuts for Christmas. We're doing we're starting to push into like the gift market as well, hoping that people will buy gift vouchers and donut subscriptions for their loved ones instead of just coming in and buying a box.
You don't just do coffee either, do you? You do other things as well. You got your coffee.
Yeah, we do some local hot chocolate called Harry's Hot Chocolate. So we make that fresh here. We make our own milkshakes. We've got Iron and Fire coffee, and started doing slushies. And the strangest time to do slushies. This is just typical me. I bought a slushy machine as it got cold again. I was like, oh well, it was cheap. We'll just buy one. So we're doing slushies all through the winter as well.
Everybody loves a slushie. That's great. And what you saying about the future that you got the kiosk opening in the Darwin Centre? Where do you see yourselves in say 3 years or so? What I mean, is that easy to predict, or is it quite difficult?
You know what? When I opened it in May, I didn't expect to have another place in Shrewsbury. In all honesty, so that I've not even been able to anticipate.
I bet it's nice though. That kind of buzz at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's got to have been that.
I knew it was a risk opening here. I knew it was off the beaten track, but also on the beaten track as such. So I didn't really expect to do anything else but have this shop for at least the next 2 to 3 years. But opening the kiosk will sort of change that, or opening when it opens. If that goes well, I'm hoping to maybe set my sights on either Telford, Oswestry, or Chester, and see what we can do there. Even just get out a little bit further from Shrewsbury. I don't want to. I think even just having 2 places in Shrewsbury is probably a bit oversaturated. But you know, if it
happens, I mean, you've got. We spoke to Mike from Stop, who's got a couple of coffee shops through town, and he says like different parts of the town have a different feel to them. So, you know, if you're going to open in the Darwin Centre, there are busy moms walking with their kids that will be like, I want a donut, you know, on the go, quick, go on, shut up, and let's keep walking, you know. Busy shoppers will want a quick kiosk. What about a restaurant? Would you ever think about opening like a restaurant, but somewhere a bit bigger where people come and sit and congregate?
No, my vision was always as a takeaway sort of place. I mean, we've added this seating in here at the back, and we've added a bit of seating at the front. But my vision really is to have it as a quick grab and go, grab a coffee, or you know, grab a seat for 5-10 minutes and go. You know, I don't see myself opening a big sort of cafe. I just don't think there's a need for it, especially not in Shrewsbury. And most other places, when you look, you know, you've got your Starbucks, you've got your Costa, you've got all your other speciality coffee shops.
There's a growing trend of people kind of supporting their local coffee shops and things like that, rather than your Costas and your Starbucks. I mean, I remember I went to a meeting actually. It was to do with this show, and I was speaking with officials from Shrewsbury, and I was in a rush, and I ended up going to Costa, and I walked into this meeting with Costa Coffee, and I never felt so guilty in my life because business owners and stuff looking at me. But yeah, I do. I love the fact there are so many great places to come, and like I said, it'll start again when I start walking through here, going to town, to the quarry and buying donuts and things. Do you work well with other businesses, or do you have other business owners that you kind of speak to, get on well with? What's it like with other coffee shop owners, you know? Is it good?
You know, to be fair, a big shout out to Tim in the Shed and the Old Smoky Barbecue. They were actually 2 of the places that really supported us at the start. This is before the shop. They were the two places that first ever stocked our donuts that gave me the confidence to go for this. So yeah, we've got a good relationship with Sam. I'm not really that sort of out there that I go around talking to many other people, in all honesty. I'm either too busy doing something about donuts here or decorating. We've started to work with the Seven Social. So
that's
we
cool.
now supply their donut burger. The actual donut part of it. We don't do the burger. We've not gone that far. So yeah, we're getting out there and helping some businesses. We're about to start going further afield. We've got someone going to be stocking our donuts over in Shifnal.
That's great.
It's trying to find the time to actually go out there and speak to people and see, would you like our donuts in this town or this cafe?
Yeah.
We did sort of restrict ourselves, and we've brought our donuts. They're only really available in Planet Donut.
That's good. That's because you don't want to overdo it, because as soon as you start out reaching a bit too far, that's when you start panicking. And
yeah.
I imagine. I'm not a business owner.
It just made sense as well, and it just made sense to, if someone wants a Planet Donut, they'll come here. If they want something else, they'll go there. It's as simple as that. Really.
That's great. So what do you like to do when you're not here? When you're at home and you're not supposed to be thinking about donuts, are you thinking about donuts?
Most of the time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Much to my wife's dismay, as such, she hates it. She's like, why don't you just switch off? It's 6 o'clock. Just stop answering messages. Stop replying to emails. But I don't. The only way I find a switch off is I'm a bit of a geek still, so I still paint Warhammer figures.
That's great.
So that's my way to relax. I don't play any of the games because I just never seem to have time. I've probably got every single game under the sun.
Yeah.
And every rule book, but I don't play any of them. I just literally buy them and collect them.
That's really refreshing to hear, because I do ask people about hobbies and things like that, and a lot of people clam up. They're like, no, I like the sun, and I like singing in the car. But to hear that you'd like to do that, I mean, that is a great escape, isn't it? Just to look at the intricate details of the models and just work away at it,
When I get a chance, anyway.
Yeah.
So I was saying to my baker, who also sort of has an interest, that I must have spent over 4 days trying to paint one tiny little thing, just because I just get distracted either by donuts or spending time with my wife and my son, really. So
yeah.
But yeah, it's the only real escape I get, even if it's for an hour. It's just nice to sit and do that.
Yeah, I'm the same with the pug. I've got a full-time job. I don't just walk around with a microphone. Will you talk to me, please? This is actually my distraction from everything else. And it's I'm a creator, and very much like yourself. And I do think you're an artist, because the donuts that I see on your counter look amazing. They look amazing, and they taste great too, and it's great for everyone. What kind of people do you get in here? Do you get kids, or do you get a lot of people from everywhere?
Everybody now, I think. It's certain times you get the kids coming in. They've saved up a couple of quid for their pocket money, or they've done some odd jobs. You get the mums with the little babies. They're just having their mum's day out with all the other mums. We've got accountants, dentists, everybody now, I think, comes in at some point or
dentist comes in here.
Oh, well, quite a few, actually. I think most of the Shrewsbury dentists.
Come on, name and shame, I'm joking.
I better not. I think we've got probably a wide range. Hairdressers, everybody really is now starting to come in, which is nice. I couldn't say we've got one single target market.
Did you get many good reviews on sort of like, I don't know if you wouldn't have TripAdvisor, would you?
Yeah, we're on TripAdvisor, we're on Google and Facebook. And the majority of the reviews have been really nice. And I'll respond to every review, really. And that's why I think I'm so critical. I want to make sure we get the good reviews. And most people have loved the donuts.
That's really, really good. I've got one more question to answer you. This is what I ask everybody at the end, and everybody kind of goes, oh, what does Shrewsbury mean to you? But this is the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. So, yeah, what does Shrewsbury mean to you?
Shrewsbury means to me, it's basically where I want my son to grow up. So he's not going to have to move around. And to me, it's one of the best towns I've ever lived in. And all the places I've lived, bar Cyprus. I'm not bar that because it doesn't have the sun of the beach.
Yeah.
It's got the River Severn and some nice pebbles, but it's not there. And that to me is home really, and that to him is where I want him to grow up and go to the same school, have the same friends, and just literally live here until he wants to.
It's crazy the amount of people I hear say that. They say, "Oh, because I'm not from Shrewsbury. I've moved around here, there, and everywhere. I've only been here since last August, but it hit me when I came here. Kind of this feeling that I've never really loved the place because I've moved around quite a bit. But I came to Shrewsbury and I was like, this place is amazing, and I wanted to know why. And this is why I started doing this show, because I was like, Jesus Christ, this place has got a magic spell. What is it? What is it? And you saying that is quite. A lot of people say it's home or it's safe or there's schools and things. And that's really nice to hear. So this is the part of the show where you get to give your store a bit of a plug to all the people that are going to hear this. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, if you've not popped in, certainly come and have a look. We hand make every single one of our donuts from scratch to decorating. We do all different kinds. We can decorate on demand as well.
Really?
And if you're not in we also do vegan donuts now, so we've started that.
That's cool.
Can't do gluten-free donuts. We have tried our hardest, but we just can't do them. So we've got vegan donuts, and we've got our classic original donuts as well. And coming up to Christmas, if you're looking for a bit of a different gift, we've now got gift subscriptions where we'll deliver over pretty much most of Shropshire and Telford direct to your door or your work.
That's fantastic.
You can stick it on direct debit and forget about it. So you get a box of 12 donuts every single month on a Friday.
That's a brilliant idea. Actually, that is really, really good idea, because you've got a lot of this kind of Loot Crate kind of vibe at the moment where you do a subscription like this and they'll send you like a box full of toys. So there's a company called Beer 52 now that you subscribe to them and they send you a box of beer out every month. So that is a fantastic idea, and I hope it takes
beer
off.
And donuts. Yeah, I've got one subscriber so far, and you know what? I literally just jumped in the air when I saw it come through. I was like, yes, we've got our first subscriber. I've no idea where she lived. It took me 2 hours to find her. But I was like, I found you. Here's your box of donuts. And it was just great.
Well, if you ever want anybody to trial one of your subscription boxes, the Shrewsbury Biscuit will be happy to help. I'll get my crew around and we'll... where can we find you? Social media, things like that.
So we're on Facebook, Instagram. Just Google Planet Doughnuts. Donut is the English spelling, or the British spelling, should I say? DOUGHNUT.
Do Americans spell it different? Is it?
Yeah, DONUT.
Oh God, I've never really noticed that before. Yeah. One of my best friends is American. I've never really noticed that. That's good.
We use both. We use for the doggy donuts. We use the.
Have you? Actually, it's a good question. Have you had like an American come in here and be like, "Oh my God, your donuts are amazing"?
Yeah. It's funny when I see Americans or Canadians. I think they're going to be my strongest critics because they know donuts.
Yeah.
And so far, so good. They've loved them, and I've actually looked and they've put their reviews on, saying the best donuts outside Canada, and they've put that on TripAdvisor. So.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's really good. So, guys, if you, do you know what? These guys come highly recommended from me. I don't do these podcasts as a way of competition for the other coffee shops and whatever around Shrewsbury. I do it to find out a little bit more about what goes on. But like I said in the show, I've had quite a bit of Planet Donut in the summer with my little boy and my wife, and they do come highly recommended. They do look care that they take care of their product, and they'll take care of you, make you feel happy. So make sure you check them out. What street is this again? Now
Claremont Hill.
This is Claremont Hill on the way into the quarry. So if you're heading to the quarry, make sure you pop in and say hello. Thank you, Duncan, for sitting with me. It's been really nice of you. I know we've been a bit to and fro with dates and times. That's his life. This is life.
Yeah, definitely.
And today I've finished a night shift, overslept, grabbed all my stuff and ran up the cop, and I came in here, and your girl on the counter was like, hello, and I was like, podcast. She's like, it was great. Well, thank you very much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you.
Guys, make sure you give us a like, share, and a subscribe. If you enjoy what's going on the show, make sure you let me know. If you hate what's going on the show, let me know, because either way, I like hearing from you. This has been awesome, and I hope you join us next week. Thank you very much.